Everybody, happy Sunday to you. Another random live stream. It's interesting. I was listening to a couple of podcasts earlier, and a couple of them got on the subject about the black guy, I guess the white women loving black man that was killed by his white girlfriend. Now, honestly, I think we live in a world where we have just a mixture of nations of people. There are people who have very tribalistic mindset where they, believe that you should, be aligned with your own romantically. I've had varying views about interracial relationships. I don't look at people who are in interracial relationships and look down on them. It just happened that that's who you fell in love with. That's who you fell in love with. Some people don't operate with preferences and they just kind of align with people that make them feel happy, that they can grow with, that they can develop with, and they don't really care about the race of the person. There are other people who operate with more of a tribal mindset where they're like, I prefer for the cultural preservation of my people to align with people that look like me and think like me, have the same experiences as me. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Where it becomes really toxic in the conversation is where you have people that are choosing the other race because of some inferiority complex of the race that they belong to. And you see this with people of all colors. And a lot of people may think that this is just a black people thing, but this is an all color thing. There are some people who are interracially dating because of some idea of guilt that they may have, associated with their race, or some idea of inferiority that they may have being in association with their race. And so dating somebody of another race or some idealism of a race is, something that they do. But like I said, the conversation becomes toxic when these excuses become just overt ignorant comments about people of your own race, where you are just being obnoxious and you're almost trolling. And so this guy, this black man, I want to go back because his cousin, first I want to play what his cousin is saying, right? Because his cousin is not happy with the internet's reaction to the death of his cousin. Okay, so let's listen to this dude. This is the cousin of the gentleman who passed away at the hands of his white girlfriend.
What y'all mad about? I want to know. What y'all mad about? What y'all mad about? Have you? Alright, what's up with it, y'all? So look, I'm back.
And this is Carlos King, I guess. He's covering this. I just want to get to the cousin's comments.
It's a tweet that really got a lot of people.
Did he? I guess was that all the brother said?
Going off. And if you don't want to hear this, you can't listen to it fully and things like that. Please don't let us know that. She ended up taking her boyfriend's life. His name was Telvin Osborne. He was saying a lot of things that I don't like. A lot of people.
And it's kind of weird because people are clowning this dude. They're clowning the hell out of him. He said, "I'll kill for her. I'll kill about her, and I ain't scared to say I'll die about her." Talk about those words just not aging well for him concerning her. That's insane. What's going on, Mika? Race has to be talked about because of all the lies associated with race. I agree. There's a lot of, I would say, miscommunication, propaganda. We're going to get into some propaganda too because the Democrats are pulling out Yuri Bezmenov. And so I'm going to talk about that. But let's talk about this dude for a second here, because what really kind of irritates me is the things that this man said, right? and how he was just so on the bandwagon of just, I don't know, trolling about his affinity for white women. It was just irrational. If you are attracted to white women, you're attracted to white women. But when you out there just overtly just saying shit, some of the stuff that you're saying is just really an indication of your own self-hate. It really makes it difficult for people to feel sympathy for people who are overtly on the internet being self-hating, and then consequently they get deleted by the same thing or the same being that they are over glorifying. Right, this was not a black woman, Asian woman, Puerto Rican woman that killed him. This was a white woman, right? The same white woman that this dude was glorifying. I'll do this, I'll do that. And it's okay. Love your woman. If he was with that white woman and he loved her that much, great. But I don't even think it was really just about that white woman. He was just all about white women. He had a very high elevation about white women. And there are a lot of black men who have that mindset. Again, it's the inferiority complex that if they can get somebody of another race, and black women are like this too. Like, don't get me wrong. This is not about just black men. A lot of black people, and I won't say all of us, a lot of black people, when they go over to the other race, this is really not, I mean, sometimes it's about love, but a lot of times it is about convenience and feeling less inferior. It's about convenience and feeling less inferior, and, again, fall in love for whatever reason that you want to fall in love with, love, but don't denigrate the people in your own race, because you've made that choice or your preference. And this dude, he just had a lot of cash shit to say. So what your cousin saying?
I got time to think. Yeah, so everybody won't go funny. Everybody won't be funny today. Everybody won't go lie. Everybody want their own assumption. Goddamn it, I'm finna get it to you. And y'all swear y'all bullying a bit. Boy, listen here. I fight for real. Y'all ain't talking about. My cousin said what he said 11 years ago. Why y'all find the time to go down somebody's timeline? Goddamn, ain't the only that matters the black middle bitches. Goddamn, what you mad for? Y'all ain't gonna get no screaming. What you mad for?
Now, if his cousin was anything like him, I would say, please let the white girls have him. Like, we don't need him. Like, I mean, seriously, though, there's a certain type of black man. I don't care if the white women have them. You can have them all day long because they're that much of a liability to a reasonable woman's soul. And I don't really find a lot of the, not all of the white women, but some of these white women that I see some of these brothers taking up with the liberal ones, right? Yeah, y'all can have them, okay? If his cousin was anything like him, the white girl really did a lot of black women a favor in more ways than one.
The realest, whatever, the whole that shared my post. Listen, we ain't asked you to be no lawyer. We ain't asked you to be no doctor. We ain't asked you to be no preacher. Hell, we ain't even tell you to mind our business. That's the wrong with y'all black folks now. Y'all always telling somebody business.
First of all, look, and this is whatever you put on the internet stays forever, right? So if you out there trolling your white girl love, right, elevating white women above black women, right, going beyond white women is my preference, you got to go out on the internet and troll it, right? So when you get 86 by the very thing that you out there elevating above your women, right? I mean, ain't nobody about to really feel a whole lot of sympathy for you. Like, and I don't say that to say that that man deserved to die. Like, he did not deserve what that woman did to him. Whatever happened at the club that night, they got home. She talking about she cleaning her gun, right? And she just happened to shoot dude. First of all, you're not a responsible gun owner. You shouldn't even own a gun if you were sitting up there cleaning it. You haven't even cleared the chamber at all. You just this is where this is what you gonna say. This is where we're going with lady Hannah. Hannah's going with the fact that she was cleaning her gun, right? That's step 1, 2. We know that you ain't no real life gun owner. We know that you don't know what to do with a gun. You shouldn't have one, because ain't nobody sitting up there cleaning a gun fully chambered. So a lot of this don't make any sense. It seemed like he probably pissed her off. And, you know, as opposed to him getting that black woman nagging at him about what he pissed her off about, she was like, out of there. Get your ass out of there. Hannah got rid of his ass real quick. And then she's going to play the victim, of course. That's where all them tears come in. See, y'all was talking about Joy Reid. And maybe she was being too vague. Maybe Joy was being too general. But them tears get weaponized quite a bit, right? It's a way to mask over accountability for some people. And I'm not just going to put it on white people or white women. That's really kind of a lot of people these days in American society. They weaponize their tears, you know, when it's time to be accountable, right? So she done shot this man, right? Now she on the phone with 911 just sobbing her ass off, right? Screaming and hollering like, please, please come back. It's like, but no, people don't realize that, you know, and this is what this was a lesson actually that I taught my kids today. My daughter asked my son for the remote. He wanted to be an asshole about it and he threw it at her. Well, obviously a hard ass remote on your hand, that shit hurt. Right? So, you know, I had to like scold him, make him stand in the corner and think about what the hell he did wrong. I'm like, you don't throw no hard ass object. I didn't mean to, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, I don't care how irritated you was. Bottom line is when you do stuff out of anger, sometimes your sorry is not enough. She's hurt and all you are is standing there sorry. There's a difference. And this is where, you know, the fruitages of God's Spirit really comes into handy, people, where we're talking about Galatians 5:22 and 23, having those fruitages of God's Spirit, because part of that is self-control. You have to be able to have self-control, and we have to train. Self-control is something that needs to be trained. It is not something automatic. It needs trained consciousness to have self-control. So when you're in heats of those moments, right, you are being hyper conscious of how this moment could go left or right. Right? That's what hyper conscious people do. We don't live in a hyper conscious society, unfortunately. But this is what heat of the moment do. You apologizing for some shit that you cannot take back. And that's what it is. But down to the brother, though, he didn't deserve that. But I want to go to another scripture really quickly in relations to this. And again, I've been talking about the book of Ecclesiastes. Again, this is a great book of wisdom, in my opinion. Ecclesiastes 7:1, it says, a good name is better than fine perfume, and the day of death is better than the day of birth. Why? When you're born, you haven't pissed anybody off. When you're born, nobody knows your name. You have not created a name for yourself. We live in an age of social media where people can create names for themselves overnight, right? People have to stand on the things that they choose to say on social media. I mean, I can think about a time in my life where I was using social media and I just felt the liberty to say things and jokes and jests. But I think now that I come back and realize, it's like, okay, that probably wasn't really cool. That was probably insensitive. But we lived in a different time. We lived in a totally different time where you could joke about certain things and everybody wouldn't get their panties in a bunch, male or female. Now we live in a time where you can offend somebody off of some dumbass shit really, really quickly. So this dude is out here and you just couldn't just be happy with your white girl. You have to be out here trolling, disrespecting your women in the service of your white girl. And so his cousin is sitting up there upset about all the internet people who are just basically are just Basically, like, I mean, I hate to say it, they're like, fuck them, right? Live by the white girl, you die by the white girl, my nigga. There you go. You know, ain't that, and you're right. It ain't got shit to do with us. It's just a news story that we looking at. Oh, a brother over glorifying white women killed by white women. All right. And that's where a lot of people are at. And like I said, no disrespect to the people who interracially date. That is totally a choice of yours. Some people choose to do it. Some people don't want to do it, right? But those who choose to do it, and you running around talking about why you did it outside of the fact that, hey, we met at this record store and we just started just vibing and kicking it, and it just kind of fucking happened, man. It's just, that's how it happens, you know. Oop, I ain't even about to turn that light on. But like, if you were on something like that, like, you know, I respect your interracial relationship outside of, I don't like black women or I don't like black men because of X, Y, and Z, right? And that's why I'm with my black and my white this or white that, right? Anybody talking like that, I don't respect you at all. And it's like a lot of times when they're talking about these black divestors and some weird shit happen with they white mate that they have elevated above the black folks, right? We tend not to feel bad for these kind of folks. We really don't. We really don't, because it's like you chose your tribe. You chose your tribe. Like, because you couldn't just go and pick out somebody from another race. You have to go out in these streets justifying it. You have to go out on the internet justifying it in a very ignorant, trolling-like way. So, you know, prayers to the family. Right? Because regardless of what we think about this dude, somebody loved him. Somebody loved this dude, right? You know, but, you know, I'm very stoic about this. You know, I am very, very stoic. I don't think anybody deserves to have their lives ended in that manner. But damn, look at the person who ended his damn life. The very one he was running around putting on a pedestal. Right? What did you say? I love white women. What was some of this? This dude was just out here just loving his white women. And it's okay. Like I said, if you were a black dude that just loved your white women, that is okay. But don't be out there just saying ignorant shit about the black women, placating into the black inferiority complex. You want to be the mouthpiece for, you know, white supremacists. Because, I mean, this is, you know, what are some people saying? Telvin Osborne, what do you say? What you say? I love them white girls. They already know. Telvin, between Telvin and between team white girls, team snow bunnies. Damn, I should have listened to what Umar said about this before I did this live stream. I know he has something to say about this. I know he had something to say about this. I heard Tariq talk about it. And he was like, we don't feel bad for Sambos. I'll F a dog before I F a black bitch. It gotta be white dog, though. So this is the type of things that this dude who got killed by the white woman, the white dog, the white bitch, right? You know, he said that he a dog before he one of us, right? And if he did a dog, right, it would be a white dog, though. It had to be a white dog, right? So when people are talking about, you know, people should not be celebrating this man's death, I don't celebrate this dude's death. I just don't feel bad for the dude. I don't feel bad for you. You live by the white girl, you die by the white girl in this situation. And that's exactly what the fuck he did. Anyways, let me get to the comments. And if you can't process what I'm saying and you're like, oh, you're being racist, you obviously can't. You're low comprehension, you're low IQ, and you don't get it, right? You missed all of the points that were made, and we're not going to catch your ass up. So give me a second so I can get to the chat, you guys. But let me know what you guys think about this. Let me get to the chats because I know y'all got some funny stuff to say. I know y'all got some funny stuff to say. All right, here we go. Let me mute this so that it doesn't talk. Show some love to my big sister Mika. She's my moderator. She's my new moderator. She just got on. I drafted my big sister. I'm like, girl, go ahead and be my mod up in here. Hurt their feelings, big sis. We hurt feelings unapologetically over here when it comes to the ignorant people who want to troll my chat. Let me tell you what your abilities are, sis. Right? You can block people from the channel, but before you block them, right, you can go off on them and then block them. You know, you got to pull that JD Vance on them, right? Got to throw them their balls before you kick them out like he did Zelensky. But anyways, let me get to the chat. When everyone stops talking about race, there will be no more racism. Wrong. Race is a construct that has been woven into Western nations. It is not a construct that you can get away with because it is a fabric of too many people's identity, and that's just what it is. And I get the sympathies that what you're saying, right? But unfortunately, it is a fabric of who we are. It is a fabric of many of our identities, and no matter how diverse the culture is, it is a fabric of the social identity, especially in America. And that's something that people have to accept. What I always challenge people to do is how you talk about race, right? We've been talking about race in America the same damn ways. We've had two ways to talk about it: the victimized Democratic way and the racist ass out of touch Republican way. So if you want to, race is always going to be a conversation in this nation. It's that I just think to heal the conversation, we need to have better facilitators of the conversation. We don't have that right now. So unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of toxic rhetoric until people start accepting the fact that we can be more pragmatic about racial conversations. And that's just what it is. And race, it is what it is. And a lot of times you're not just talking about the color of somebody's skin, you're talking about their cultural identity and what has made them who they are. And I mean, I don't expect for some people to get this because some people are devoid of culture. And a lot of them are jealous that other people are running around these US of A's with culture. So there's that too. So US had plantations, so did France, Sweden, Dutch, and so on. That's great. That is true. Like a lot of nations had slavery. That is for sure. But I mean, why are we trying to negate the fact that a residual of that slavery was racial identity and division? Like, why are people acting like after slavery that somehow the America, we became some kumbaya and everybody joined hands and we were all one American people? No, it didn't really work out like that, right? Like, it just really didn't. You had too many propaganda machines maintaining our division. And with that being said, that segues into my next topic and my last topic, right? So in 2020, right, I saw a lot of the conservatives, right? They were pulling out Yuri Bezmenov, all right, aka Thomas Schumann, right? And Yuri Bezmenov is an ex-KGB operative of some sort. And Yuri, he's always going viral. They're always sharing this interview that Yuri did about the levels of, or the stages of subversion, right? And this interview is about 11 minutes, so I'm okay with going through this thing. But I wanted to just kind of point out a few things, right? Because from his argument, one would say that America has been successfully subverted, right? On many different levels. But I think it's interesting that you have the Democratic operatives. Wait, hold on for a second. Who the hell is up in here with all these damn smiley faces? We got to get this little asshole out of here. Let me see. Who's in here that shouldn't be? If you catch our little laughing emoji person, please get their asses out of here because it's weird seeing the little smiley faces. So I know I got a troll up in here. Don't make me start doing members only up in this bitch, and then you're gonna have to pay to troll me. But anyways, so here's Yuri, and this is probably one of his people, so that's why he's doing all that extra stuff. I can't stand Zionist people. I can't. They are the devil's people. But anyways, so over 30 years ago, Yuri Bezmenov, right, gave a warning to America of how we're being subverted by patient Russian tactics. Now, this guy is saying that it's the Russians who are subverting America, right? This is just a clip, right, that somebody is recommending. Now, I want to point out that when you listen to what this guy is saying, right, if everything that he were saying is true, then I would have to say that it would be the Democratic Party who has worked very hard to subvert America more than the Republicans and even more than Russia. All right, so let's go into this. If I find this smiley face loser, you are going to be banned from my channel forever. Oh, let me go back here. I can't stand when the Mossad come in here with they dumbass shit. Because y'all know all this technology is really monitored by the AISs in some way in the CIA. Okay, so here we go.
Which is legitimate, overt.
We just gonna let him laugh at his mama because she brought his ugly ass into society. So the smiley face person is the ugly motherfucker with the ugly mom who's a slut who brought him into society, and now he's vaxing us. All right, let's do it. Keep smiling. We want to see you smiling so we can see the ugly ass person that your mama brought into society.
When the Soviets used
all right, here we go.
Subversion. What do they mean by it?
Let's go back. You said that was rude. What's rude is trolling somebody's chat room with a bunch of dumbass smiley faces. And I can only imagine that comes from the product of an ugly ass woman. All right, here we go. Boom.
You spoke several times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand. When the Soviets used the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the process which is legitimate, overt, and open. You can see it with your own eyes. All you have to do, all American mass media has to do, is to unplug their bananas from their ears, open up their eyes, and they can see it. There is no mystery. There's nothing to do with espionage. I know that espionage intelligence gathering looks more romantic. It sells more deodorants through the advertising.
So I want to just stop there. So what this guy is saying is that a lot of this subversion is happening in the open, right? It's really like any secret society, right? You know, you have to be in plain sight. A lot of times the safest place to be is in plain sight in the open, right? So a lot of this is in the open perception control. That's really what you're seeing here is in the open perception control. This is what this guy is talking about, right? Right? You're talking about active measures, and he's going to talk about this too. Active measures to distract people, right? Like this little clown with the smiley face. He's probably from the CIA, the Mossad, or somewhere. You know, they breed retards. They really do. They do not recruit the best of the best.
The Hollywood producers are so crazy about James Bond type of thrillers. But in reality, the main emphasis of the KGB is not in the area of intelligence at all. According to my opinion and opinion of many defectors of my caliber, only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions.
Okay, so George Floyd was the perfect example of this, right? George Floyd was the perfect example of this because George Floyd, and it wasn't really successful. It was successful to an extent, but it was one of those things where you need something sensational or almost like a crisis, right? To sort of start over propagandizing people, right? So starting in 2020 is where I don't know if anybody else said this like I have been saying, but I was like, I've always known that racist people existed in America, but the level of racism that we're seeing in America, at least since 2020, a lot of people will argue that even when Obama started, it was almost like somebody threw up the 1950s and 60s and just brought it back into modern America, right? That was no mistake. If you look at a lot of the media machines, what they were propagandizing, how they were propagandizing to people, this was absolutely coaxing and subverting America that really was kind of dormant with a lot of that hyper-racial rhetoric of the past, right? They basically coordinated to bring it back in the present. Why? Because they needed newer generations of activists, right? And he says something very interesting because he says that the reprogramming Americans' mindset really can, starts with like 10 to 15 cycles. So it takes like 10 to 15 years to subvert a whole generation of people, right? And then you need another 10 or 15 years to kind of deprogram another generation of people. So it's kind of like you're balancing out these lemmings with like a fragment of rational people. So what we have in America today is majorly a society of lemmings. And I always said that I felt like my generation was kind of the last group to receive like that critical thinking education. And then I realized, okay, if you're over 40, we were probably that deprogramming group. So they had like a segment of people, and it makes sense to me because I was born in the 80s. So that tells me that like you're talking about the 60s and the 70s, right? You got that 15-year span to raise activists, right? And then you go into the 80s, 90s, where they're not really hyper activists like that. People are still protesting, but I didn't grow up with like hyper activism. And maybe I was in my bubble or what, but America just wasn't bumping like that with activism all over the damn place when I grew up, right? Then you fast forward into after Obama. Then all of a sudden we get activated with activists again, right? You look at what they're teaching the kids in the civics or social studies aspects of the education system, and it's all about social activism. So they have already groomed their next generation because this is the product that we're getting, where you get all these kids on college campuses just out here acting like fools and just passionately ignorant about every single type of issue you can think about. Oh, they're going to ban being a furry, right? And you're going to have like 100,000 people trying to defend the furries. So that is just to say that this dude is really on point with a lot of things, because when you're talking about the lack of moral standards, you look at how people behave, you look at how people communicate, how they talk to people, right? In a lot of ways, society has gotten ruder. We have squandered our freedom of speech. We have disrespected what it means to have freedom of speech, because a lot of people think that it means that I don't have to be scrupulous. I can just run around saying any old dumbass shit and there's not going to be any consequences, right? And then when somebody smack the fuck out of them, then all of a sudden they're a victim, right? There is a consequence of speech. There really is. You can't be just going out here overtly offending people, saying shit without no scruples, right? And a lot of people feel like they can do that, and they get that FOMO moment a lot of times in life. But I thought what he was saying was interesting, because we are a fully subverted society, and we do not realize. I mean, a lot of people who are real awake, I'm not talking about woke. There's a difference between being woke and aware. Right? You know how sometimes when you wake up, like sometimes I'm like, I'm woke, but sometimes I'm not fully aware, right? So this conversation is for the fully aware people, not the woke people.
Defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process, which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate 1 generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students.
Okay, so he's saying that Marxism, Leninism, right, it's been pumped into American institution. Now, I want to understand, because I see Democrats who are using this video right now to make a case of why Republicans have somehow fallen under this Russian subversion, right? Because this is an ex-KGB guy who was on the mic talking about how America was being subverted, and they're trying to use it as if America's being subverted by the Russians. I personally don't think that America is being subverted by the Russians. I think that they're being subverted by the Zionists and the Fabian socialist type of people. And when I look at the people who have executed a lot of Marxism, communism types of things, socialism policies in this nation, it has not been the conservatives. It has been the Democrats. They are more in line with executing and implementing subversion in the United States than any other group. If the Republicans are out here subverting America, right? Number one, they're not doing it they're rock stars at it. Like, who would have thought that the Republicans would be better at manipulating than the Democrats, right? Because I don't really see their subversion when I'm seeing coordinated efforts to have the American Pediatrics Association tell parents that it is okay, or make recommendations to parents on how to have their kids explore their gender. Then I start seeing all this gender affirming this, all this coming out of nowhere. Then they got a Jazz Jennings story, right, of this kid, and they're out there fusing this stuff. You have a lot of kids who were transitioning because they were being peer pressured and manipulated, and in some cases even nurtured by their own damn parents, right? These are all coordinated ways in which you subvert a society and demoralize them, right? By turning something that was abnormal into normal, and then demonizing the people in society for not embracing what is abnormal. So let me know if you guys have heard this interview before and what you think about it. But I'm going to have to give the Democrats all the flowers when it comes to distractive subversion. Like the smiley face person, I'm pretty sure that's a Zionist liberal
of American
with a rat face mama. I'm going to talk about your mama all day if you come over here trolling, because I'm pretty sure she's a demon, an ugly demon.
Or half-baked intellectuals are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them.
So again, These people have infiltrated every institution in America. They are firmly woven. And again, this is where, sort of breaking yourself out of these systems and being against the system is actually the wiser thing to be, right? Without full blown revolting, because let this dude tell it, they ready to kill everybody who's not going to be compliant. But when it comes to Russia, I don't really see a lot of Russian influence in the United States. If there is, somebody point them out. I don't see a lot of Russian influence in the United States. I see a lot of Zionist influence being put on Russia in the United States. I do see that. And when I've said things like white supremacy in the United States boils down to the white Jew and the white Christian, I mean that. I mean that. Volodymyr Zelensky, and it's everywhere, actually. It boils down to the white Christian and the white Jew. They are the ones battling with each other, and everybody else is a residual of their bullshit. Like, Putin is a Christian, right? Zelensky is a Jew, right? So, like, all this little stuff, I'm just adding it, cataloging it, because to me, this white supremacy stuff is deeper than just a skin color. It's deeper than just a skin color. I'm going to say that 100%. So what you talking about, free Israel? Israel is free. You said Benjamin Netanyahu has the most influence on America. I believe that because they are in union. I have said this before. If you are a person who follows Bible prophecy, those two horns on that second beast are America and Israel. They are in union. They will conquer together and they will fall together. But it's a volatile spot to be in, though, when you have a person like Donald Trump who can actually be a little pro-Russian in his position. And I guess from Trump's position, it's like he's looking at it as a business partner. I'm pretty sure he don't even understand why Americans have been propagandized so much against the Russians for so damn long. What the hell have the Russians did to us? Like, for real. Like, what has Russia really done to us in the last 30, 40 years? Can somebody just give me a catalog of 10 things that they've done against the United States that makes us want to say that we all should hate Russia, a whole damn country? Like, I've never understood the Russia hate. I've never understood the Russia anything. Like, they don't have any real global power at all. But we're all just supposed to hate them. I'm like, all of these NATO alliances, if you look at the NATO expansion, they expanded their asses right into his backyard. Like, I don't really I'm trying to figure out which side is really the threat to which side. And this is not no pro-Russian anything. It's just like, if you want to be truly diplomatic about things, tell the damn truth. And these people aren't telling the damn truth. They don't want diplomacy. This is literally a pissing match against some of these supremacist people. And they know Russia is a threat. And their whole thing is there is a GDP to be had. And Putin is like, there's also some nuclear bombs to be had, and y'all can get all of this smoke if y'all think y'all about to sit up there and coordinate against us. And we sit there and underestimate these kamikaze type of Eastern nations. It's like, keep fucking around. We're gonna keep fucking around, and we gonna find out. We gonna find out, right? And if it's not gonna, and the thing is too, I got another opinion about who is trying to crash the U.S. economy too, right? And I'll just leave it like this. Do your research. Which group of people, whenever people leave a country, the damn economy collapses, right? Is there a race of people when they have a track record of leaving a damn nation or not getting what they want out of a nation, that when they leave, the whole fucking economy of that nation crashes? The patterns don't lie. The patterns don't lie. So, Black people, I've already said this before, We need to stay politically neutral. No matter what side these people try to get us to be on, none of this shit got anything to do with us, right? Let the white supremacists duke it out, right? Like they always have. We are always going to be the casualties of their bullshit anyways. So that's my message to my people. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Let me know what y'all think. What were your comments about the white girl that killed her black boyfriend who just loved them snow bunny? That man loved playing in the snow. And again, there's nothing wrong with playing in the snow. There's nothing wrong with interracial dating. There's nothing wrong with that if that's your thing. And I will say it again. Interracial dating, I don't have a problem with people falling in love, right? I have a problem with people who go to the other side and they come out with a whole bunch of excuses why they did it, right? Like Brandon Tatum, right? This thing have like 2 videos on why he chose his white wife instead of just saying we met, you know, and I don't know. She gave me good vibes. I like the way she feel about me as a woman. No, you comparing your snow bunny to black women. And it's usually these type of black men who can't get the type of black woman they want. So they just go on an all out revolts against black women, generalizing us, right? Putting us on the same pedestal as white women, kind of. It's like we're not the same type of women. We're not. Black and white women are culturally different. You will get a different vibe when you're dealing with a black woman versus a white woman. You're going to get a different soul. You're going to get a different attitude. You are, right? You will absolutely get that, right? But at the same time, this white girl has just showed us that you ain't got to be black to knock a nigga out. You ain't got to be a black woman. You ain't got to be a black woman. And she also proved to y'all brothers that y'all talking about our nagging. Y'all masculine. Man, she drilled this dude like he was one of Lil Durk's guys. She pulled a little Durk on our dude. Pulled a little baby on him. Right? That white girl got about it with his ass. I bet you in that moment he wished he would have had a sister. Because maybe she wouldn't have shot his ass. Right? We'll beat your ass, right? But we may not shoot your ass. Right? Smack you up a little bit because you done cheated on us and disrespected us. But we ain't about to go clean our gun and have it pointed at your ass, fully loaded. I don't know anybody that just sit up there and clean their gun fully chambered and fully loaded, right? That's what she did to him. And again, I know it's people probably hurt to lose them and stuff, but sometimes, like I said, Ecclesiastes 7:1, sometimes the name that we die with is more important than the name that we were born with, because we haven't pissed anybody off as kids, right? There's no remembrance. There's no debts as a baby, right? So if I can encourage people, I would say, careful what you say. Careful what type of character you project yourself out to be in these streets and on this internet, right? And even if you're in a transformative stage, you got to be able to repent on how you were by being able to say, hey, I said some things about black women. I said some things I really, I was too immature at the time and I shouldn't have said those things, right? You got to be able to walk back the ignorant things that you said, right? And be able to do it in time before you die. Because if you don't, people are grave diggers. They are grave diggers on this internet. They'll start pulling up all kinds of things. Especially if they trying to prove a point about why you did. So, I don't know what inspired the internet to start looking up this guy's social media posts, right? But the minute that they saw that he was talking shit about black women, they really just literally, it went from, oh my God, this is so sad, to he got killed by his white girlfriend. This is interesting, to, oh, they posted some of his social media things about, oh, he'd rather fuck a dog than fuck a black woman, and the dog would need to be white. Okay, so he really hated black women, and black women are reading all that and they look at the news story and they're just like, let me calculate how bad I feel about him. I got nothing. It literally said nothing. It literally said I got nothing. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful day. Shout out to chat. What's going on, chat? Roderick, you said you talk too much. Well, get your ass out of my chat, dude. What the hell? You just sitting up there. I can't stand people just coming in and saying shit. If I talk too much, get your punk ass off my live stream. Why y'all be making life so hard for yourself? Just click a button. Just click a button. Damn. Who raised y'all? This is why I be talking about people's mamas and shit, because it's like she brought your ass to society and now we trying to not deal with your ass. Block his ass unapologetically. Thank you, Mika. Shout out to my sister. Oh, he been hiding, right? And when we find this little geeking ass smiley face motherfucker, let's get him out for good too. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Let me know what you guys think about this conversation. Again, I personally believe that America has been subverted. I don't think that it was by the Russians, right? And I don't think that people looking at the whole situation between what's happening in with the Russian-Ukraine conflict, they're coming off as Russian sympathizer or pro-Russian. It's like a lot of people are just pro what is right. All right. America would never allow a nation that they believe to be volatile or present volatility to be in their backyard. And I don't think that, again, Ukraine should have stayed neutral and they wouldn't have been in this shit in the first place. And that's just what it is. The West was not their friend, right? So no, I don't think, because you're going to see a lot of Democrats. I caught Reese Waters. He was covering this, and I like Reese, but I told him, bro, I don't agree with you on this. Your assessment is completely off. Because when you look at who's been really trying to change American society, especially like if you just need a sample, just go to the last 5 years. It has been a Democratic machine. They turned up the races. They turned on all the little phobias, right? They turned on a lot of new shit that they needed us to accept too, right? They did a whole lot of shit to demoralize people, right? So Democrats, I'm going to need y'all to stop sharing Yuri Bezmenov, a.k.a. Thomas Schumann, this ex-KGB guy, right? Because this don't really apply to the Trump administration. And even if the Trump administration is employing these tactics, you guys have been the main ones subverting, because having prayer in school was a dogma for you people, right? It was a dogma for you, right? When you take prayer out of school, you take all the little foundational things out of school that made people moral people, right? They were pushing that. They wanted to demoralize people and take away core foundational values that made people decent people. Now we got all these shitty trolls, all these little demons. So I'm not going to put that on the Republicans, you guys. So anyways, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will catch you on the next one. If you did content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Bye.